I think what we're definitely seeing is that inflation is ticking up. But what I would also say is when you look at food, it's a smaller share of wallet than some other categories. And we definitely see other areas where inflation looks a lot higher than in our industry.
Where in your industry are the problems? Again, I mentioned three individual areas with Casper there. Logistics, I know, is affecting everyone, so I know that will be a problem for Ahold. But what about labour? What about raw material costs?
Well, let's take them one by one. If we look at the raw material cost, that is something where the CPI numbers have ticked up a little in Q3, are also moving that way as we go into Q4. But that's one where, we are one of the most consistent margin deliverers in the industry. We know how to get the best price value for our customers. So we're working with the vendors. We're, developing our working with economists, making sure that we've got the right should cost models so that we're able to really only accept the prices that are absolutely necessary. And, if we look at our Benelux market, we've been able to avoid passing on any price increases so far this year. You talked about labor. That's another one where, there definitely are pressure points at certain pieces of the, in our industry. We see it particularly when it comes to transport and distribution, but it's also something where we've got a fundamental difference in our business versus others because a lot of industries were laying people off over the last year. We've been building our workforce, so that puts us in, I think, a better position than many others.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point, Natalie. What would you say your current vacancy rate looks like, and how does that compare to the pre-COVID period? Because I think we're all trying to get to grips with a great resignation and ultimately what staffing challenges mean for wages.
Yeah, I think it varies a little bit. It varies a little bit by region. So for us, we find we've got a much more robust supply chain in Europe in terms of things have very normalized. I'd say versus the pre-COVID levels. When you look at the U.S., the supply chain in general is very challenged, and that's a place where we definitely have bumps in the road in terms of getting the right people in the right places. But we are an employer of choice. We've been able to when we go out and start recruiting people at our Food Lion, we got 8,000 people in a weekend when we needed it. So I think our vacancy rates are pretty consistent, but we're working a lot harder to keep them that way.
And how important do you think the end of year Christmas season is going to be for sales this year? And are you able to get the stock you need on the shelves? I know some supermarket chains have been reporting challenges restocking in time, particularly for festive lines.
When you look at the holiday season, it's definitely something where supply chains are still challenged, where we're working very hard. It's something we saw last year might be a challenge, and we've been very prepared for. So that means when it comes to the holiday products, I think we're in good shape. We like to say at Ahold Delhaize, the turkeys are safe. They're ordered, they're ready. We have, what we think are the key seasonal products, but it's still, again, it's much more challenging than it's been in previous years.